Any character that has a doggo as his best friend instantly has my stamp of approval. So, which Marvel doggo not only has a long history with Beta Ray Bill, but also synergizes well with him in the game? We'll get to that in just a bit, but first, who is Beta Ray Bill? Okay, remember Surtur from Thor Ragnarok? Well, in the comics, he has this sword called the Twilight Sword, which he used to bring about Ragnarok on Asgard. To create the Twilight Sword, he exploded a galaxy known as the Burning Galaxy. The Burning Galaxy was home to the planet Corbin, home of the Corbinites, who were forced to flee their planet. Of all the Corbinites, Beta Ray Bill was selected for his strength and courage to be cybernetically and genetically enhanced to serve as his people's champion. That's why he looks the way he does. They barely escaped Surtur's fire demons and found themselves in a new solar system. Ours. They were detected by a SHIELD satellite, so Nick Fury asked Thor to investigate, and upon entering Beta Ray Bill's ship, Thor and Beta Ray Bill fought. Nothing like a little superhero misunderstanding to spice things up, right? At one point, Thor loses Mjolnir, the ship falls to Earth, and surrounded by SHIELD agents in self-defense, Beta Ray Bill lifts up Mjolnir and becomes a god of thunder. Meanwhile, Odin became aware of the threat of Surtur and summoned Thor to Asgard. But because Bill had the hammer, it was Bill who arrived in Asgard. After hearing the story of Bill and the Corbinites, the Asgardians decided to help them by creating a new weapon for Beta Ray Bill, Stormbreaker. Beta Ray Bill has since been traveling the cosmos, fighting the good fight, and has been part of teams like the Annihilators, Guardians of the Galaxy, and more. In Marvel Snap, Beta Ray Bill is a 4-energy 6-power card with the on-reveal ability Shuffle Stormbreaker into your deck. Stormbreaker is a 0-energy 1-power card with the on-reveal ability Double Beta Ray Bill's power. Now, interestingly, when he was announced with this month's season pass, he was a 5-power card, but the data mines from the latest patch showed that he's releasing at 6 power. Very fascinating, because every time you get cards that double in power, the potential to get crazy numbers on the board is there, right? But I guess in their internal testing, that wasn't the case for Beta Ray Bill. So, just like Thor, you need to get his hammer out to give him the buff, so he fits right into a Jane Jaw deck. Lockjaw on 3, Bill on 4, Jane Foster Mighty Thor on 5 to pull Stormbreaker out of your deck, and then you play Stormbreaker out into the Lockjaw lane to cheat another card in. It's the same idea as Mjolnir and Thor, which has me wondering, do Thor and Bill now occupy the same role? I mean, it's good to draw Bill if you don't draw Thor, right? But if you draw them both, well, one of them is not going to get played, considering a standard energy curve. And hey, if you don't draw Jane, then you are leaving it up to RNG to draw Stormbreaker. That's not very ideal. Also, this style might not be a cube winner, honestly, because it's pretty obvious if you have the whole combo just laid out, your opponent's just gonna retreat, right? So maybe you want to consider Nico as another way to draw cards in hopes of pulling Stormbreaker. I mean, there's Adam Warlock, but nobody plays Adam Warlock. Okay, so let's go back to the whole idea of doubling power, and let's get a bit greedy here. So you got your Forge, Nakia, Okoye that can add more power to Bill before you double, right? Getting more value out of Stormbreaker's effect. Or you could re-trigger Stormbreaker with Odin, Absorbing Man, Wong, or last week's release, Grandmaster, potentially getting Bill up to 24 power. That's so big, I don't even have a graphic for that. That's a lot of buffing, a lot of on-reveals. I'm thinking Shaw, Werewolf, and Bill as your win conditions. Jane to pull Stormbreaker and put 8 power on the board. Zabu to discount. So, should you get Beta Ray Bill? Do you like playing Thor? Because he's so darn similar in playstyle. If Thor is a chore to get going for you, then Bill's probably gonna feel the same way. And if you don't have Jane Foster, it's gonna feel worse. Personally, I won't be spending 6,000 tokens. I'm gonna use the Spotlight keys on this because I want to pull this sick Galactus variant. By the way, that's the cover of Fantastic Four 210 from 1961, where Mr. Fantastic makes a deal with Galactus, allowing him to devour Earth. Okay, I mean, if you don't have Galactus and you want to try him out, Spotlight keys might be the way to go. As far as Elsa Bloodstone is concerned, oh, my poor Elsa. Not gonna lie, I still try to make her work, but she is a shell of her former self. Oh, fun fact, in the comics, Beta Ray Bill and Lockjaw are best friends. Well, they're war-bound allies, I'll count that as besties. And the fact that they synergize well in the game, well, that's kind of a nice touch, intentional or not. And hey,